Hey guys, welcome to the 7 to 100 podcast. I'm your host, Tim Warren. I'm joined by Danielle and Paul. And this is our daily stand-up. What are we learning as we're building a company from 7 to 100 million and trying to grow rapidly and scale this thing? So if you're a business owner watching, you are just casually interested in business, or you just really like Paul, all of those are great options. But this is our journey as we're building. So Paul, tell me a little bit more about the cold calling. What did you learn on cold calling yesterday?
Oh yeah, well, I think what I learned is that business content actually is pretty fascinating on YouTube, and there's a big audience for it. But yeah, I watched a guy who was just the smoothest cold caller ever. Like it just seemed like every person he talked to, it just sounded like he was calling a friend, and everyone responded to him like he was a friend. And he booked 10 calls in one day, which is absolutely nuts.
Dude, I was thinking a little bit about that, and here's the crazy thing. I mean, Hormozi talks about this. He talks about just skill, right? Like raw skill is one of the most valuable things you can get. Like you can't lose it in a divorce. The government can't take it from you. No one can take skill from you, right? If you have the ability to create income or do something really well. And so there was like a video of him being interviewed outside his headquarters, and it's like, like if you could only keep one or other, it's like process or skill. He's like, skill, right? Yeah. It's like, team or skill. He's like, skill, right? It's, that it's like money or time. He's like, time, so like he goes through this whole list or whatever, but he kept coming back to like skill is just so valuable because it allows you to create new money, right? And so his advice to young entrepreneurs was before you try to do anything, like before you try to get rich, like invest in getting really good at a valuable skill, right? So whether that's cold calling or, Google ads or Facebook ads or, selling or whatever, like really build a skill. And Paul, I actually think I was thinking about this a little bit too, is what I think a lot of business owners miss or entrepreneurs miss is there's the skill of the thing you do, right? You paint, you build widgets, you solve operational problems, you do marketing, you do Google ads, whatever you're good at. But then building a business is a completely different skill set than doing whatever that thing is that you do. And so I think where a lot of businesses get stuck, like they call it the swamp, right? The $1 to $3 million range, where you are probably doing 2 or 3 jobs. You're probably doing the actual expert thing that you do. And you are trying to grow and scale a business, which is a whole different skill set in of itself. So The thing that we have to remember as entrepreneurs at whatever size we're at is that the actual skill set needed will change based on the size of the business. So as the business gets to 10 or 15 or 20 million, it's no longer being great at Google ads. It's being great at training, hiring, motivating, recruiting talent. It's going to be team, right? It's going to be processes and systems. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, well, and one thing that's nice for us at this moment is the main focus that we have right now is utilizing skills that we've been building the whole time we've been running Helium and before we were building Helium. So like the marketing side, that is. So we get to apply what we do for clients to ourselves.
Right. All right. So yesterday, some changes we made. So we started sending back the data on the low end bad leads for Facebook. By the way, Paul, so just like quick update. So Ryan closed another deal yesterday at 4,800. Awesome. With what's left in pipe this month, like we could very realistically get to 60 or 70,000 in new MRR this month. So I think pros and cons. Pros is that's great. That's, with our average, if we think about a 25-month on average new cold client coming in, that's 1.7 million in revenue sold. So that's great. The con of that is pipelines are going to empty up for the salespeople, right? So we need to refill. So here's what I'm planning to do today. Given what we've learned on the current ads that are too many of the ads that are like, informational and hey, would you like to see how much traffic you're getting, stuff like that. Those are probably appealing to the small businesses, like the really small companies. What I've done is I brought in a bunch of different shirts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, today when I get time, I'm going to try to record a bunch of videos. And what Hormozi recommends doing is take the meat of what you want to say. So if the meat is like, are you spending thousands on SEO and not seeing the growth or the results you were promised, right? Another one is, Do you have an agency and you're coming out of these meetings and the results are down and things aren't growing and you're frustrated, right? So let's just take that as the core premise. You have an SEO agency, you're spending real money, but it's not working. That's the core pain. So what you do is you have 2 to 3 different variations of the meat of the ad. And then he said you shoot 50 different hooks, right? So the hook can be, did you just come out of a meeting with the SEO firm and it was bad? The hook can be, are you spending thousands and you're getting nothing? The hook can be, are leads down? Your SEO firm doesn't know what it is. So it's just 50 different ways of saying the exact same thing, right? And that's the hook, that's the beginning. Then you go to the meat, and then the CTA is always the same, which in our case is, would you like a free SEO audit to see how it could be better? So what I'm going to do is just create a bunch of variations of ads with that process, 30, 40, 50 different hooks.
Yeah. And we can throw those into the Golden Bear test campaign, and it will basically run them all head to head against each other with the same conditions, so we can know which one. We know. Wait, probably what we'll end up with is like 3 winners. You guys, by the way, I can show something I was working on yesterday that's going to help us understand what's happening with leads as well.
Yeah, sweet.
Let me share my screen. Something Danielle and I were working on yesterday is getting the sales reps to fill in like meeting and proposal outcome meetings. And the main reason I want to do that is so that we have really clear data, like in like week to week time of like what's actually happening in these meetings, because that's going to inform like how do we change our ads, et cetera. Like for example, like if during the week we get a ton of like can't afford our minimum, like this week, for example, like how many there are compared to like last week.
Oh, is that what that one is? Can't afford. Oh, okay.
Can't afford minimum.
Yeah.
So I know it's like it's kind of a pain for the sales reps to update this stuff because they have to like go into all these meetings and like they have to go into all the contacts, then like update 2 settings. And so what I did is I made it so in this dashboard they can actually just update it here. So then in one view, they can just go through and give us detail on these. So Ryan and Vance were both like in a ton of proposal meetings yesterday. So we're not mad about that. But Luke actually went ahead and filled it in. So you can see we still have a lot of missing data. So today we're going to try to hunt down Vance and Luke and get them to fill it out. But but going forward, I think this will make it like a ton easier. One, for them to update in bulk, and then 2, for us to like make sure that like we have the data as fast as possible. But yeah, then the insights we get to see is like, this is what I want to see is like, are ads suddenly driving a lot of like can't afford our minimum budget leads? And so we can see that there. Now, what I do like to see is our next step, even though we had a lot of these, we still had a lot of next step scheduled meetings. So not as high as the week to sits 24, but I mean, it's picking up, which is great. So there's then we can also look at, so like there's a couple different states we can look at. So like we can see no shows. So no shows were so far this week have been pretty good. They start to pick up proportionally as leads pick up. So look at how many meetings we had last week, like all-time high. But just a percentage of those are going to be no shows. And so
we ran 25 meetings last week.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So there's still the unmarked bucket. So I need to. So this is again where Ryan and Luke, or sorry,
that's not 25 DCs though. That's just in total meetings, Tim.
That's all meetings. But then if we do first meeting, first meetings are DCs, discovery calls.
Okay.
And then proposal second meetings are, so right now. Yeah.
You zoom in just slightly. It's like, okay, 3 to 6. I'm trying to look at the number on the side. Proposal second, so we had 6 proposal second, and we had 19 DCs. First meetings.
Yeah, 6 second meetings and 19. Yep, so 25 total. And then, what this lets us see is like, are people no showing our proposals? That would be bad. I mean, right now we just need to get the data filled in. Just these yellow ones are just ones that haven't been labeled yet.
Okay.
So once we get those labeled, we'll have a little bit better idea of what's happening. And so then a big question right now is like, we had more leads, but were there more no-shows? But what I like to see, and I'm really happy about, because I was worried like maybe we're getting tons of no-shows and not hearing about it, but like the completed number is on the rise. So that is going up, which is great.
So I will give some more data from talking. So now, as I'm doing the one-on-ones with the sales reps, and I'm asking them, like, we're going through all the proposals, and every time I'm like, "Where'd you get this lead? Where'd you get the lead? Where'd you get the lead?" So what basically, Paul, what it seems to be is that people are just seeing us now and finding us through social. So they're seeing our social ads, right, and then it's causing them to come through other channels. And the good people are just bigger businesses and bigger spends with the pain that we solve. And the bad customers are, or bad prospects are, people who have the same pain that are just way too small, right? So we are targeting the right pain. It's just whether the business is really, really small or much bigger.
Yeah,
So
can we get the pain? Can we make the pain just a little bit more exclusive to our ICP? And
exactly. I think the next change is: do you have an SEO agency and blah blah blah? Are you spending thousands on SEO and blah blah blah? Right. I think if we change that, that'll help to resonate with our buyer. That won't resonate with the smaller companies who are like, "Oh, I'm not even spending anything on SEO, but sure, I want a free audit." Right. That's just a time waster for us. What we can also do over time too, this is just a thought, is if people don't have $3,500 budget, we have an automated SEO audit that we just send them. It's just an automated thing for the interns.
This is an idea that I had, and I think it could work well, which is we could set up in our form. So if they select less than 500, we could technically have it send to a different page that then, like sends them an automated audit or something like that. We have to decide, because like those are still potentially good meetings because they might be interested in Noble.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if we do that yet, but that's something we could do. Something I was thinking about.
Vance sold another Noble deal yesterday. So yeah. And the thing with Noble deals is because they're SaaS, they're a lot more profitable. So I agree. It's not necessarily the play to just instantly, not meet with those. I would say, Paul, let's give it a little more data. Let's try to find out and get some more data of the like budget levels before we do any automation. Because I think what'll happen, just transparently, I think the automation, just like those leads won't go anywhere. Probably is my gut. If we're not working them and someone's connecting with them, I just don't think they're going to really go anywhere.
Well, that was our experience. Like we did test that in the beginning of June, and we got a ton of people running our automated audit,
right?
And pretty much none of those progressed anywhere else.
Right.
I was talking to I was talking to on call because I'm helping them right now with their LinkedIn campaign.
Yeah,
and they ran like a lead magnet on LinkedIn, and they got like 50 people to fill it out, but it was like a deliverable PDF, and they got 0 meetings out of it. And so what I was talking to them about is like how the lead magnet needs to like bridge to the meeting. Otherwise, like that's what we saw too, is like if people just get it, they'll take the path of the least resistance, they'll take it and they'll leave. And it also could be that it wasn't valuable enough. I mean, I think you can accomplish it by like making it like a requisite that they jump on a meeting, or you make it so good that it like points to the fact that they need to have a meeting. So that's what we're working on with them actually. I think a lot of people have that same experience. You just like give away stuff and you kind of hope like, please someday think about us. And they don't really, doesn't really work.
Yeah. Hope is not a business strategy, right?
Yeah.
So I think, so here's what I think in terms of this next steps. Like, let's just continue to drive more leads, not conversions. Whatever we do to drive more leads, not conversions, is good. And if we get more low end ones along the way, that's fine, right? Because SD, like the setters will try to set them and book them. Our reps are smart enough to know if there's like really junk leads that aren't going to go anywhere, not to waste time on those, right? They know that. And I was talking to Vance yesterday, and he had
Did
two
you
questions.
See this, by the way? This came in this morning, 5 to 10K budget.
Heck yeah.
And look at which ad, marketing managers.
Nice. Okay, good.
So that call out there is awesome to see. So we just got to get this guy untouched. We got to get someone on this one. 8:16. It just happened like.
Yeah, just happened a few minutes ago. All right. So, but I was talking to Vance, and so I was like, hey, what are you struggling with right now? And he said, yeah, two things. What do I do when I have a DC and they don't want to move to the proposal stage? Right. I was like, good question. Here's what my thoughts are on that one. like not every DC should go to proposal. And if you can't bam fam somebody, right, it's probably because they're self like selecting out because you've told them what our pricing is and they're just not going to spend that pricing. Like we're just way above the level where they want to be, right? Or they're not realistically ready to tackle this yet, right? Like they find out kind of our level of professionalism of what we're going to do and how involved it's going to be, and they're like, I'm not there yet. Like they're just like, I just want a $500 a month something that's going to do whatever, and that's just not us. So I was like, Vance, that's actually fine. Like if people self-select out in the discovery call, don't try to push them to proposal. Like you don't want to push people to proposal, right? Because they're not going to buy. So that was my advice there. And then number two is he said, what about the no budget? So I walked him through that and basically just said, look, the largest bucket of buyers for SEO statistically, that research has been done, is 2,500 to 5,000 a month. But that's the largest, like for people who hire an SEO firm, that's the average that they spend. But there's a giant amount of companies who spend way less than that, who are just kind of all over the place in different pricing levels. So that's okay. You just have to find out where these people want to be. And if they're below our level, they just aren't going to be good buyers. So that's fine, right? Just stick with our pricing because that is what it costs to do really good work. So we kind of talked through that, but basically like not worrying if we roll out pricing and then people say like, I can't afford that. That's okay. Because if they don't have, and here's the other advice I gave him, a lot of companies they're not like strategic about their marketing budget. They don't think through that. They're like, I need to spend money on SEO and marketing. Well, how much? Well, we'll see how much I can do. But they're not like disciplined about, I'm going to spend 10% of top line revenue on marketing. And I'm going to deploy it into different channels. And I'm going to grow it as I get bigger. And I want to scale. They don't do that. They just ask how much they need to spend and then they kind of find the money. But if you do that, that's usually not going to work at scale if you try to actually grow, right? So I think a lot of those, so my advice to him was don't just tell them to spend more. Have the conversation with them first of how they're even deciding what their marketing budget should be, right? How do you guys decide this? Like, I don't know. Are you trying to grow? Yeah, we're trying to grow. Are you spending 10% of top line on revenue? Are you spending 10% of top line revenue on marketing? Right?
Crazy.
Right. Yeah. Are you spending, if you're a $2 million company, are you spending $200,000 on marketing? Right. If they say no, then say, well, that's what it takes to grow.
Yeah. And that should be a starting place. And then once you know performance, you can scale that up. Once you can reliably get people in cheaper than you can service people cheaper than you can get them in. So it's a great starting place.
Exactly. All right, guys, I got to run to my next meeting, but this was awesome. So great takeaways. We're going to get a podcasting platform that doesn't crash every time you use it. Yep. That's a win. That'll be awesome. Number two, Paul, you're going to keep working on the campaigns. Number three, I'm going to record a bunch of new ads that really focus on that like higher end buyer and the pain that they have and a bunch of hooks. I'm going to shoot those today as my goal, get as many as I can, start getting them over to you. And then Danielle, I get them to Gerardo so he can start editing those. And then we're rocking and rolling.
Sweet. And yeah, I was just going to note that like since we got some of the new ads live, like we've actually gotten some ICP leads that have come through. Like,
let's go.
So
nice. Were you able to fix the formatting, the aspect ratio thing?
Yeah, actually I can throw those in the Gemini. I mean, it kind of hurts some of the resolution to like crop an image, to crop a video, but Gemini will fix the dimensions. So if you can try to get those in the right dimension, we'll be able to keep the quality better, but we can always fix it if we need to.
I'll shoot it with Blackmagic. Now that the internet's better, like we should be good. But yeah, I'll shoot them in the Blackmagic app, not the native phone app, and it'll work better.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Let's go. All right, we'll see you guys on the next episode.